Hey everyone, Ryan Wilkerson with the Dave Friedman team of Keller Williams Real Estate here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm here to give you a real estate market recap from the first two quarters of 2023, as well as some things to think about as we head into the second half of this year. So, comparing real estate metrics from one year to another can be challenging even in a normal housing market. That's due to the possible variability in the market, making the comparison less meaningful or accurate. So unpredictable events can have a very significant impact on the circumstances and the outcomes that are being compared, right? And when I say that, what I'm really referencing is when we're looking at comparing this year's housing numbers to the two unicorn COVID years that we've just experienced. Doing so is apples and oranges. It's almost worthless. The pandemic profoundly changed real estate over the last few years. The demand for a home skyrocketed, right? People needed homes with bigger offices and big backyards because that's where they were confined and that's where they needed to work from. We saw waves of first-time and second-time home buyers entering and flooding the marketplace. Already low mortgage rates were driven to historic lows that we may never see again. The forbearance plan the government rolled out all but eliminated the possibility of foreclosures, and home values reached appreciation levels that we have never seen before. It was a market that forever had been kind of greatly desired but difficult or impossible to find, and that's what we're kind of calling the pandemic unicorn years. So now that things are starting to get back to normal, the unicorns are gone. They have galloped off. Right? So comparing today's market to those years makes no sense. We need to look at things in a historical context. And here's three examples. Buyer demand. If you look at the headlines, you'd think there aren't any buyers out there. But we're still selling over 10,000 homes a day here in the United States. But of course buyer demand's down from those two unicorn years, right? It was just a perfect storm. According to Showing Time, which is a big real estate showing service, if we compare current buyer activity to normal years like 2017 to 2019, we can still see that buyer activity is incredibly strong. Number two, home prices. We can't compare today's home prices, the increase in appreciation to the last couple of years. We just can't. There were too many things at its back. According to Freddie Mac, 2020 and 2021 each had historic appreciation numbers. Here's a graph also showing the appreciation during that similar normal year, 2017 to 2019. And we can see that we're starting to return to a more normal historical home value increase year over year. There were several months of minimal depreciation in the second half of 2022. However, according to Fannie Mae, the market has returned to the more normal appreciation pattern in the first two quarters of 2023. And then foreclosures. There have already been some clickbait headlines coming out around foreclosure filings increasing. Of course, percentages are going to be up, right? They increase historically, but they're increasing over historically low foreclosure rates, right? When you're comparing them to the last 2 years. So here's a graph information from Adam, which is a big property data provider that will show that. There will be an increase over the numbers of the last 3 years now that the moratorium on foreclosures has ended. There are homeowners who lose their home to foreclosure every year, and that is a terrible thing. It's heartbreaking for those families. But if we put the current numbers into perspective, we'll realize that we're actually going back to the normal foreclosure filings that are very similar to 2017 and 2019. And no one at that point in time was talking about a foreclosure crisis. The bottom line is there will be very unsettling headlines around the housing market this year. Most will come from inappropriate comparisons to the COVID years. So if you have questions about this stuff, let's connect so we can have myself or one of our great agents here at the Dave Friedman team talk you through everything and give you the perspective of what's happening locally in our market right now using real-time data and historical data to give you the context to determine if now is the right time to buy or sell.